What's up, everybody? It's AJ with eTrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out this Access TonnoSport Tonneau cover. It's going to be a soft roll-up cover on our 2016 Chevrolet Colorado. So it's going to be a soft tonneau cover. It's going to do a good job of covering up the bed and what's in it. So that's what this is kind of all about. Is either you want your truck to look a little bit nicer with this covered up. You got a bunch of stuff in the back. You don't want everybody looking at it and seeing what you got, just in case wandering eyes turn into reaching in there. So this is going to stop that. Now it's not going to be knife proof or anything, but it's a nice cover to keep people away from whatever's on the inside. It's going to have 2 bars of support right here. So that's going to help hold that up and help the cover. So I wouldn't necessarily go setting things on the cover either. It can hold a little bit, but you can see it even drops down just a little bit. So be careful in that rain and snow. Don't let that build up too much. That could put a lot of stress on the cover. But otherwise, like I said, it looks nice on there. It's rolled up. It's really easy to roll up or even take off if you want it out of the way if you need your full bed too. Now let's see how it works. You pull the handle, drop that tailgate, come over here. You got this switch you can hit. So we're gonna pull that towards us. That releases the tailgate. Now it's not spring loaded, so I'm gonna push it back down in place and show you when you do this, it's not gonna pop up. So you do have to pull it up on your own. And then you can just tightly roll it back up towards the front of the bed. You got the hook and loop on the side. That's gonna help keep it spread out and help with the tension from side to side. And once we get up to the front here, we even have these clips. If we want to leave it rolled up, we can use these to buckle it up. Bring this up and buckle it in. Looking closer at the cover itself, it's going to be made out of a vinyl material. It's going to be UV resistant, so you don't have to worry about it fading out in the sun. The elements should be just fine with it too. It can handle some rain and some snow. One thing I will say that it does have seals along the side, along the back, and the front, but there is some open spots here on the side. So an entry-level tonneau cover like this is not going to be completely rain-proof. So you probably will get a little bit of rain on the inside, but not a whole lot. Something that goes along with the UV resistance of the cover is going to be all of the hardware and the rails are aluminum, so you don't have to worry about that rusting out on you or corroding as it lives on your truck. Overall, the installation isn't too bad. It didn't take us that long to do it. Check out how we did it. All right, here in the bed of the truck, we already got one rail set up. So since it's on this Colorado, it's going to be a little different from the other ones. We are going to have to cut this bed liner out. You see, this is what the clamp's going to look like. It goes down into the stag pocket, and you drop a block in there to make that attachment. So you will have to modify a bed liner if you have one. It's not that bad. You're going to follow along and see how we did that. And the rest are just clamps that go along these rails that hold this in place. So let's get started on this side. We come over here. We see this is where the stag pocket is, and this is where our bed liner is. So now we can loosen this up so we can peel this back. So I'm going to go ahead and get my ratchet and attachment here to back this out. Now with that removed, I can peel back the bed liner and get to this right here. We're going to pull this out so that we have the hole, and that's going to be the access we need to drop our plates and put our bolt in. We've separated our clamp. We're going to put our bolt through and get that ready, and put the bolt lead on this side and get it started, and you can just turn the end to get it fully on there. And then what we're going to do is drop this down in the pocket and run our bolt lead that's included out through that hole in the side. There we go. You can drop the block down in there, let it sit, and pull the bolt right there. Now with the block drop down here, it's about where we need it to be because I'm going to pull this through with the bolt leader. I'm going to stick out to about there. I need that other clamp on the inside to come down a little bit more so that bolt. We're going to get this mocked up because what I'm going to do is put the liner back in place, and we see that everything's lined up. I got the bolt through. This is where it needs to be. So this is what we're going to need to cut out. So I'm going to get my marker and make the lines to show where I need to start cutting it out, and we'll remove that. With it all drawn and the bed liner pulled out, I'm going to take some tin snips and start cutting. So I'll do it on this side so you can see what I'm doing. Just go slow all the way down along that line. With all that cleared out, we'll come back with our blade and kind of clean it up. You can see how I left a little bit here on the sides. So I'm going to come back and even that out a little bit. And I got the shop towel. I got some alcohol just to clean off the areas. We're going to add that adhesive just to make sure it sticks for good. We're going to pull the adhesive off our shim here, turn it this way, bring this back and put it up and underneath our bed cap here. So kind of pry up a little bit. There's not a whole lot of space, but get up there to help pry it out when you add those rails. And holding the clamp up just to double check. Looks good there. So we're gonna need to put this about here. So then we can get either half the clamp, thread that bolt lead, pull it up and through. Just like that. Now I can pull up on it a little bit more. I need more of that bolt out to actually add the nut on there. I'm going to have to adjust it just a little bit on the inside. Looking down this tank pocket, I can show you what we figured out here. To get more of that bolt out there, you'll see this bracket that we dropped in there kind of fell back, and it needs to go up and under the plastic on the top of the bed rail. So it went up and in there, and that's what gave us a more straight bolt here to use on the outside. Now I'm going to go ahead and back off our wire lead. Now I'll come back and just loosely put that nut on there. Next, you're going to set the rail up on to the bed rails here. And I had an extra set of hands help me hold that up in place while we tighten down this clamp just to help hold it so I could use both hands and it would stay right there. You're going to see that it's dropped just a little bit below the bed rails. And we're going to go towards the front now and add the other two clamps. Now we're going to put the clamps into place. These are going to go up as high as you can. So you start out like this. Put it one side on the back side of the bed rail, the one on the front. Make sure it clamps evenly. Now I'll tighten it down. Now we're ready to install our tensioners. We got the tonneau cover flipped upside down right now and set it up on our rails. We're gonna put this right here next to this channel. It has that nut in there, so we're gonna line up that hole, slide that down on the channel, have our bolt and flat washer, line that up, and just thread that in by hand for now. We brought the tonneau cover back up towards the back of the cab, set it down in the rails. You see it's in these channels sitting on this silver part here, fits right in there. Now we're gonna turn in our tensioner, and it's got a hole on this side, or on both sides, that we wanna line up with the rail here. You see if it's slightly off, there's a wheel you can turn, and as you turn that, that adjusts the tensioner to where it's supposed to be. So we want it to line up with that hole. Looks good right there. So then we'll come back with the hardware. Got a bolt and a nut. With that loose, I'll fold this up into place and add that bolt down in there. I'm gonna come back with our wrench and our ratchet and tighten down the nut. Now at this point, we're gonna roll back the cover. There's gonna be a little bit of adjustment. Every truck's gonna be a little bit different. So we're gonna roll it out and see how it fits and go from there. We got it rolled out all the way. It's nice and tight, fits pretty well. The only thing we really ran into, and I'll drop the tailgate out of the way and show you, was up here. We went to fold it out. This was not slid back enough to go underneath here. So what we did was we backed this screw out and just moved it back a little bit and ran back in so that this was pushed back out of the way so you could just do this to close it. Overall, wasn't so bad. Despite cutting the bed liner, the installation went pretty easily, and then those few adjustments we had to make it work exactly how I want it with this Colorado. That aside, it was pretty easy. So now that it's done and on there, it actually looks pretty nice. I like that it covers up that bed. That way it just keeps wandering eyes away. Well, I think that does it. Thanks for hanging out and hope this helped.